back again today to do another guitar lesson for you. I know it's been a minute. I've had a lot going on, but I'm looking forward to getting some more content out for you guys here in 2022. All right, so let's start the year off right, and let's do one of my favorites here. Let's do a Vince Gill song. We're going to do Don't Let Your Love Start Slipping Away. I actually had this requested by one of my patrons, Brad Anderson. Thanks so much for sending this request my way, bud. Hopefully this will do it justice for you, okay? Now, in his request, Brad specifically talked about the transitions between the parts of the song. So the transitions between the verses to the chorus, and then, chorus back to the verse, and then you got a chorus into a bridge, and then you go into a solo later on. Now, he mentioned, in his request, he also mentioned a version from a couple years ago. Now that Vince is playing with the Eagles, it was from the Live at the Forum album. So I've watched that version numerous times along with some other versions as well, and listened to the record. So I'm going to kind of combine all that together for you and just show you some tendencies that Vince Gill tends to do. I'm going to break this intro down and talk about the transitions in between the parts of the song, okay? All right, let's dig into the lesson. Just want to take a quick second here to say thank you. Thanks for watching this video and my other videos. Thanks for your continued support. Go ahead, if you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button for me down below. There's also a link down below in the description box. If you click on that link, you'll find tabs to this lesson and a lot of my other lessons as well. And also, you'll have access to some bonus content there as well. All right, so we're in the key of E. So Vince tends to stay kind of down here, what I call the money spot, in the first 4 or 5 frets, especially when he's playing rhythm, because he does sing lead vocals while he's playing. So, but on this song especially, now on the Live at the Forum album, I'm pretty sure he's playing his Les Paul. That's what it sounds like. But in a lot of more recent videos of him doing this song live, he's playing a Les Paul. I picked up a Les Paul to do this video, and it just didn't feel right. So it just really feels a lot more like the record if I'm holding a Telecaster when I play this song. So I chose to play it on a Telecaster. You can play it on any guitar you want to. There's no right or wrong, just whatever your preference is. Okay, but let's dive into this. So the chords that we're going to use, let's go over the chords first and foremost. So we're going to use E. So, okay, and we're actually going to start, I'm going to play this E shape a lot, and I'm just mainly playing the top 3 strings. Okay, that's just an E power chord. Okay, and that's basically where I'm borrowing the 2nd fret, A string and D string. Okay, and then we've got A. Then we've got our B. And you can do B this way, right? But I'm doing it basically this way. This is the way I've always done a lot of my bar chords. Because once again, I'm only playing about 3 strings. Right? So I'm doing a lot of licks like that in this. So I'm going to be using my pick quite a bit, but I'm also using I'm doing some hybrid picking here, so I'm using my middle finger and my ring finger here on this hand. Now, Vince does a lot more pick action here up and down because he was a bluegrass player starting out. So he does a lot more of the, just the cross picking and things like that. I actually incorporate my middle finger and ring finger probably more than he does because that's what I'm used to doing. So, all right, so let's break this down. So, once again, we've got E, we've got A, we've got B. That's the main chord you're going to need for this song, okay? That's it. There's no minors or anything like that. So let's go going into the lick at the top. Here's the scale that we're thinking out of. So we're doing the E scale. This is really our E major pentatonic. So right, here's where we're at. Now you'll hear him incorporating the flat 7 in there some, when he's going. So that's your flat 7. Here's your root. Okay, flat 7. So that flat 7 kind of mixes it up a little bit and makes it a little bit of Mixolydian. But basically, he's kind of combining the minor pentatonic, which is your E minor pentatonic, which is that scale. He's combining that with the major scale, right? So, and that's what Vince does a lot, and that's the first thing I want to talk about is he combines that major and minor pentatonic to have that kind of create that Mixolydian sound. He does that a lot in his playing. He may be here in the key of E doing something like. then he may go. You know, totally off kilter from the actual, you know, E major scale that he was playing out of, or E major pentatonic. He went to that minor sound. So he does that quite a bit. So and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But going into this riff here, I think he basically on the live version just kind of starts here. I kind of did a slide in and went. I think he does that on the record. So what I'm doing, and once again, there's no right or wrong way as long as you're playing these notes. So you can do it here, or you can do it here. You can do it there. That's a little darker sounding. So actually, if you're playing a Telecaster or a Strat, something with single coils, you may want to do it there just to kind of, so it's not so bright and tinny. On the Les Paul, I'm watching him on these live versions, and he's doing it here. And I think he's doing it there for a couple reasons. Number one, it's a little bit brighter sounding. When you're on a Les Paul or something with humbuckers, obviously you're going to be a little darker with those pickups. So I think he's doing it there to kind of brighten it up just a little bit, but also he's close to the money spot that I talked about, you know. He's close to this, which is getting back down to that money spot where he's playing while he's singing. So I think, you know, it's probably easier for him and it makes more sense to stay there. So I'm going to teach it out of there, okay? So we've got, that's our pickup there. So what I'm doing, I'm sliding from 4 to 6 on the G string, and then playing our root note on our B string. That's your E note. Okay, 5th fret B string. And then I'm doing, now you can single note this. Okay, on the record, I'm pretty sure that he's single noting it, and he just, there's 2 guitar tracks that are playing in harmony with each other. But for the live version, if you're the only guitar player, you can do this double stop. Okay, and what I'm doing there is I'm doing a just a steel bend there. So I'm plucking the, I've got the B string and the little E string here, and I'm barring that, but I'm not really using one finger. I'm using 2 fingers here. So I'm using my ring finger and pinky here. So ring finger on the 7th fret B string, pinky on the 7th fret little E string. Okay. Another thing to point out is Vince, I watched him do this live. He's finger picking this a lot. So, and that's a characteristic that'll get you closer to his sound. Right? Personally, I'm not as comfortable using my fingers, believe it or not. I use a pick and these 2 fingers for a lot of the stuff. I'm just not really a finger picking guy. Now I can do it. I'm just not doing it. So, but that's another note to make if you really want to get that sound. You hear the difference in that, and so hear the meat of your fingers. It makes a lot different sound than my pick and my nail. So you can do it that way as well. All right. So what I'm doing, that double stop there is 7th fret, and I'm bending only the B string. So, and I'm keeping the little E string on the 7th fret. And you got to bend it up a whole step. You don't want to go a half step because it sounds totally different. So, whole step up. Okay, and then I release that. So, and when I come back down, I catch the 6th fret with my middle finger here on the G string. So, okay, then 5 on B, back to 7 on B, and then bend up again. Same thing again. Okay, and then 2 bends. Then we're going to catch, while we've got the bend up here, we're going to catch the little E string on the 7th fret, and then go. He does that bend there. Right? So it sounds much more like Vince if you actually use your fingers. Right? So we got, so far, okay? That's the first part. Then we repeat it. And then here I go. Okay, Okay, so not as much going on that second time through. We come down. Okay, and there'll be tabs below the video for this for you guys. So, and then what he's doing on the live version that I watch here, he goes, and that lick is just straight out of your, once again, your E major pentatonic. So this is a double stop lick I use constantly. So he's going, right, and then you can do something to get into the E, something like that. I don't think he does anything, but basically that's where he's at. So that whole riff, something else that he does, he mixes it up on the top string here. So every now and then he'll do this slide from 2 to 4. And then every now and then, instead of sliding, he'll bend from 3 up to that. So that's, once again, he's that, and that third fret, that's your that makes it Mixolydian again, because you're playing out of your pentatonic. That's your flat 3. So instead of your 2, instead of 2 to 3, right? He's bending that flat 3 into the 1, so, or into the 4, which he does that a lot transitioning. So this is, we'll talk about transitions now. He does that a lot transitioning from the 1 chord, the E chord, to the A chord. So let's get into the rhythm now. So this rhythm's got a lot of kind of single note stuff going on in it. So we've got, so that's the first thing he's doing. He's kind of doing this bluesy thing where he's like, so if you've ever played the blues, you know bluesy stuff is like, right, that thing. That's kind of what he's doing here, but he's just mixing some other stuff in with it. So he's got, first time through he slides from 2 to 4 on the top string, and then he's coming to this root note, 2nd fret D string, which is your E note, right? And then he constantly comes back to this. So then I'm bringing that that minor pentatonic in there. Go to the 4 chord. Going to the 4 chord, which is your A, is doing the same type of thing. Okay, and you can do that again, or go. You can literally repeat what you did on the E, just do it on the A, or you can go either way. We can mix it up. So, he's going to his 5 chord, which is our B, and I do a chromatic walk up from A to B. You don't have to do that. You can just go. Okay, and on B, he's not doing anything fancy on B. He's just kind of pulling these 2 fingers off. Right, and then going back to the 1. Now, when he goes back to the 1, he incorporates that flat 7. He goes. So, there's the flat 7, and then the slide back to the root. So we've got. That stuff a lot too, just playing right out of your major pentatonic. And you'll notice when I'm changing chords, I'm changing what scales I'm playing out of for these riffs. So I'm targeting the chord shapes and the chord tones. So for B, I don't do the same stuff I did for E or A. For B, I go, it's your E major or your B major pentatonic. stuff out of that scale. Right? So that's the verse, pretty much the whole verse. So there's no right or wrong with that. You just really want to target those chord tones. That's the thing he does a lot. And that's what you want to do there. Okay, so let's move on to the chorus. All right, now going into the chorus, the transition, once again, we're using these same kind of riffs that we're doing here. There's not really a big transition into the chorus. The chorus goes to the 4. Okay, so if we go from the 1 to the 4, so coming out of the 5 in the verse. Doing the same thing I've been doing. I'm doing the slide. Okay, transition, you can pull that. This is what he does a lot. You can pull that the flat 3, which is your G, right into the 4 chord, which is the A. That's what he normally does into the from the verse into the chorus. And you'll see him in the actual chorus. He's not playing as many single note fills. He's opening up and actually strumming chords more. So the chorus. So for dynamic's sake, that's what I would do too, is in the choruses I would open up and actually just start strumming. Right? So that's basically it. And then there's really a transition in back into the verse is you want to bring the dynamics down and start going back to playing some of those single notes instead of opening up and strumming. So it's all about dynamics here, okay? Now there is a transition from the chorus into the bridge. So let me play the chorus and I'll play that transition for you. Got once again staying straight in our major pentatonic there we've got, and I think live he actually just slides like that. Okay, on the record it's, you can hear him bending. Alright, cool. So what we're doing there is we're sliding from 4 to 6 on D, so 4 to 6, then catching 4 on G, so sliding back down from 6 to 4, and catching 2, and that's on D string. So then sliding up 4 to 6 on D again, catching 4 on G, and then I'm bending, pulling it down here on the D string 4th fret. And then back to our root note once again, which is 2nd fret D string. So, and then we bend 4th fret A string, not quite that much, but into our 5, which is our B, 2nd fret A string. So we've got. That's the part where it's past the point of right or wrong. Playing chords, you can pull that down, right? Because you're going from the 4, you're staying on the 4, so you want to kind of break it up, build into the solo from the bridge. So. So that's what he's doing. There's one little part too that I think I missed, which is a transition from the chorus back into the verse. He goes, And all he's doing there is he's pulling down 4th fret on the D string, playing 2nd fret D string, and then 4th fret A. So, and then bending again. So coming out of the chorus. Right back into that thing for the verse, okay? So those are really all of the transitions. Now, I do want to talk about a little bit of his live at the Forum with the Eagles. I want to talk a little bit about that solo. The first solo is not him. I'm pretty sure that's either Stuart Smith or Joe Walsh, maybe Joe. It's a slide solo. The outro solo is Vince, clearly Vince Gill, though. You can hear those licks, and you can, if you really listen to the tone and the way he plays those licks and the licks he's playing, it's total Vince Gill. So he does have a certain style. So let me kind of hone in on one lick I heard him do towards the end of that solo, and we're not going over that solo note for note. But towards the end of that solo, so he's obviously moved to this position here, and he's playing this riff right here. Right? And he just repeats it. That is a really, really cool riff, and I think he's doing that to let the guys know, hey, I've soloed, you know, about as much as I'm going to solo now. When I hit this riff right here, we're getting ready to go to the outro, okay? But I love that riff, and I love these open strings ringing here. Okay? What he's doing there, let me just show you this. So he's playing B string on the, this is the 9th fret to the 10th fret, but he's leaving that open E string ringing. Right? And then he's playing 11th fret on, well, you got a couple options here, but it sounds like he's going 11th fret on G string and letting the B and E ring out below it. And then 9th fret G. So, and these riffs you can go, you could actually stay on the B string. But I think he's going here, right? Because he's got all these riffs in there. So this is where he's playing out of right here for most of this solo. And once again, you hear him target the chord tones. So the pentatonic scale and the shape here is, that's where we're at for this solo. Even all the way as far as there. He does a lot of these double stop riffs, you know, stuff like that. And I mean, you remember that lick he did out of that solo? Let's see, it was, remember that riff he did? That was in I'm trying to Get Over You. So he does a lot of that same stuff, but he's just doing it with open strings here, which is really, really cool. I really dig that lick. So, and you can take that too, and you can move that everywhere. And you're right back to his sweet spot. Right? So that's a good transition between positions there, you know. From this position here, that's a good way you can transition from low to high, or high to low, is to use those open string riffs right there, especially in the keys of like E and A and G and things like that, okay? So, cool. Hope this lesson has been helpful for you guys. I wanted to show you the intro, the main riff. You can use that main riff as your solo too, for the first solo. But on the outro, real quick before I finish, targeting chord tones. So let's just go through these 3 chords. We've got our 1, 4, and 5. So over the 1, you may do something like, you know, a riff, just simple riff like that. That all sounds like the E chord, right? Because those are all chord tones and notes from that E chord. Now when I go to A, I may do something like, just like he did there. You know, that's our A note. So we went from E to A, just in one note. You can hear that. Okay? And he does these bends a lot. So when it goes to A, the 4 chord, he may do something like this. Right, targeting that note. That's your A note, and then when it goes to B, he may repeat that and just move it down 2 frets. Okay, and then to our 4 chord. Something like that to finish it out. But really all I'm doing is I'm targeting those chords. So the shapes, I really want to look at shapes there. So here's your E shape, your A shape, and then your B shape is either here or here. But there's your shapes for your 1, 4, and 5, right? One shape for your 1, which is your G shape, right? So our 4 is your C shape. C shape there and go here, or you can come to your F or E shape here. You know, so any of those will work, okay? But it's just looking at shapes, and I think that's what Vince does as well, is he sees shapes up and down the neck, which makes playing those riffs and playing over those chord tones a lot easier for him. Okay, hope this riff and this lesson here has been helpful for you guys. I've always loved this song. Once again, Brad, thanks so much for requesting this, and if you haven't already done so, once again, click the subscribe button down below. Click the link below. You'll have tabs for this lesson and a lot of other cool bonus content over there. Got some cool stuff coming for you guys. All right, see you next time.